Well, hello, my fellow Americans and fellow Christians, and thank you for joining me for one more day of the Word of the Lord here in the United States of America. My fellow Americans, the President's speech on Monday will prove to be interesting because the President's image is one of a stranger to politics and power. I do not mean this in a condescending manner. Now, before I go on with my comments, I'm speaking on this subject today for the young people who have an interest in history and politics. My faith is young minds are the future of America and the future of great political policies and power. Monday should have specifics for or against your personal views of the President and his administration. Monday is going to be part of American history. Getting back, what I mean by a stranger to politics image is this speech Monday is after the fact and gives the impression of careless undertakings concerning Libya and the American interests at home. I am pointing to the fact most Americans are familiar with political figures informing them of impending military actions before any actions are taken. President Roosevelt obviously informed America of war with the famous Day of Infamy speech, and Kennedy went on national television informing Americans of the United States' possible impending military actions concerning the Soviet Union's missiles in Cuba. Even Eisenhower, in his special message to Congress speech in 1957, outlined the necessity of U.S. involvement in the Middle East. He informed Congress that a Middle East nation could request American economic assistance and aid from U.S. military forces if it was being threatened by armed aggression from another state. This became known as the Eisenhower Doctrine. Americans were not informed or included in the decision of American action in Libya. This is shades of governmental disrespect of the common citizens here in America and their need to know. Most Americans consider the Afghan and Iraq wars as strategic in their purposes. Not only are they a foothold in the Middle East, but of vital interest because of the economics of oil security. Americans are only tolerable of these reasons and are growing weary of wars that should have ended years ago. Even though the President inherited these wars, Americans have seen no progress or change in those current situations since the administration took office. The Middle East does not look promising, especially when Vice President Biden said we may be in Afghanistan till 2014. So when we start another war in Libya, American citizens, with their usual detailed analysis, are questioning how we can start a war in Libya when we can't even find an end to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. When America is stretched economically with 2 wars already, Americans are wondering how can we justify another war. Libya for the President Monday could become the benchmark of achievement or a loss of political savvy and power. On a grander scale, Americans are questioning not only foreign policies of aggression, but domestic policies here at home. It is hard for the common citizen to understand unemployment, homelessness, bankrupt states, failing businesses, elimination of progressive programs, the stagnating policies of rebuilding America, taking second seat to another war in Libya. Political figures should no longer underestimate the intelligence of the American public to do the math. Civil disturbance is increasing, militias are forming, and more program is forming to generate awareness. This should be an indication to our current leaders of the gathering storm of American patience running out. Peace and economic prosperity should be the reed shaken in the wind of American politics. War is not the answer. Intercontinental diplomacy is. We all seem to forget we all inhabit the same earth, breathe the same air, till the same ground. Hopefully this is the President's message. Military dominance in the Middle East will only get you so far. You can keep bullying the same guy over and over again with your military dominance, but eventually the guy you have been beating up is going to secretly get 2 or 3 others who do not like your dominance, and the next time you go to prove your military power, Unexpectedly, you are going to be annihilated. President Eisenhower warned of this possibility of a military-industrial complex. He mentioned we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications, that the potential of disastrous, misplaced power exists. He implied the weight of military power could eventually endanger our liberty and democratic process. These are sobering words of a former general and President of the United States. I do think they generally apply to us today. Perhaps the President is sensitive to this danger, and there are broad and applicable objectives concerning Libya which we are unaware of, which he is going to present to the American public Monday night. The speech Monday night will be the most important of the President's career. The President will be perceived by the solutions he offers and measured by his defense of untimely reasons of the war. The hesitation to inform the American populace may do some harm to his presidency. This is the reflection. He went into this war without considering the consequences, and it is the shaping of the American mind all too quickly. Ultimately, he is going to have to convince all Americans of his judgment. Conceivably, the President's performance will either strengthen or diminish his affinity and leadership of the American people. Perhaps Providence will lend a hand. All Americans should watch the speech Monday night. History will be in the making of continuing war or the pursuit of peace. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.